Well, hello there, everyone. How are we doing? It is so good to see everybody. It's been a while. As you know, real life gets in the way of YouTube sometimes, so it's been it's been kind of rough for me to get on YouTube lately. So I haven't been boycotting it. I haven't been staying away on purpose. I haven't been doing any of that stuff. It's just been pretty hard for me to prepare shows and also to even attend any shows. I try to stop in and say hi to everybody now and then, but it hasn't been easy with all the work that's involved and what's going on in work, everyday life. But anyway, so I was able to do one tonight, so I'm very happy about that, and I'm very happy to have all of you guys here. So let me just say hello to all of you that are present. Tommy Stiggs, of course, is always here. Don McHugh, Emmanuel Spataro, Carmela, good to see you. Cinnamon Girl, good to see you. Dean Do, my brother, is here. Big Bones, good to see you too. Excellent. So thank you guys for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Tonight's story is not a long one. It's just it's a short one, but I thought it was kind of interesting. So hopefully you'll like it. So let me get ready here, as we always do. Let's light the candles and shut this light off so we get the right atmosphere for what we're going to talk about. Looks like more rain coming in around here tomorrow, too. It's going to be a day of rain. The spring rains are coming in early, I guess, like the groundhog predicted. So, Gina, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Everyone's saying hello to each other, which is awesome, which is what this crowd always does. What's going on with this candle here? We're not lighting. Come on, let's get it right. There we go. All right. So tonight's story takes place in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, right in dead center of the country, and originates. It's a current legend. So those that live in Oklahoma probably know this. If anybody's watching who happens to see this and lives in Oklahoma or has lived in Oklahoma, you probably have heard about this legend. And it's out of Payne. Payne is the county. Payne County, Oklahoma, and it's dead center in about Oklahoma. Where in the state of Oklahoma, it's kind of like a square. And dead center is where Payne is, and this particular area is Ripley. The town is Ripley. And there's a section of Ripley called Ghost Hollow. And the reason it's called Ghost Hollow is because of this story that I'm going to tell you. It's a natural hollow, and as you know, a hollow is a low-lying area with trees, and it's creepy. It's a creepy area by nature because that type of land topography is inducive to mists and fog because it's low lying, and so it tends to be creepy. And a lot of times, we hear stories about hollows, Sleepy Hollow, for example. But anyway, this one goes back a ways, goes back to the year 1870. Now, before I do that, I want to show you. This is what the title of this particular episode is "The Cursed Tree of Ghost Hollow." So let me show you what the tree, the ghost tree, looked like, or at least they say it looked like. And I say that in the past tense because I don't think it's presently there. I don't think it's there any longer. And that's part of the story. But this is what it looks like. And if I came across this on a dark, foggy night, much like this picture has it, I think I would be pretty scared myself. And my imagination would probably be running wild. Hey, Bobo, good to see you. Hi, Kelly. Hi, damn it, Mandy. Good to see you guys. Excellent. So our story takes place in this hollow in the year 1870. Now, at that time, Oklahoma was pretty much like anything you would think about from an old Western movie. That's what it was like. It was these shanty towns put up here and there, dusty towns with a lot of gambling, a lot of lawlessness, much like it was the old West, and it was much like those movies portrayed, I should say. And there were still a lot of Indians there, still a lot of American Indians, Native American Indian tribes there. In fact, Oklahoma to this day has a tremendous amount of tribes that are still there thriving. So their cultures are thriving. Most have assimilated in to the general culture, but they keep their culture. So they are there. And this story is specifically about a Pawnee tribe. Now, there's plenty there. There's the Cherokee, I think, are the largest. The Pawnee are there. The Shawnee, a branch of the Shawnee are there. There's a whole bunch and it's quite interesting. If you ever want to look into what's in Oklahoma, it's quite interesting, all the different tribes that are there. But this one deals with the Pawnee. And the Pawnee, I don't know if you've heard about the Pawnee. The Pawnee for a long time are a very warlike tribe and weren't too happy with white men moving into their territory. And by 1870, the Indian Wars were still going on. So there was a lot of clashes between white settlers and Indians at the time. And this story brings us to a particular Pawnee princess. She was the daughter of the chieftain of that local tribe. And she had fallen in love with a white man, a settler that was there. And because of that, she wanted to marry him. She wanted to run off with him. She wanted to leave her traditional lifestyle and marry him and join him. Kind of like the last story I told, which was even farther back, which was the Ghostly Duel. That was based on an Indian princess too. This one is also based on an Indian princess. So anyway, but her chieftain father had wanted nothing to do with this and strictly forbid it, and swore that he would kill this man for taking his daughter away or trying to take his daughter away. Hey, just chilling, Todd Father. Good to see you guys. And this Indian princess, however, defied her father and would routinely meet with her lover and planned an escape, planned an elopement where they would go off and he would continue on to California and take her with her, where they were going to start a new life together. Well, the father caught wind of this. And in fact, one evening, it was just in the area which is now called Ghost Hollow, where he caught up with them. He caught them together, and in a fit of rage, he swore to live up to his threat, and he pulled out a rifle that he had obtained, and he took aim at the white man and pointed it, pulled the trigger. Now, unfortunately and tragically, the Indian princess, his daughter, his very own daughter, saw what was happening and lunged in front of her father as he was pulling the trigger. And as a result, she was the person that was shot and died right there on that site. And it was under this huge oak tree. Some people say it was an oak tree. Some people say it was an elm. But it was that tree that I showed you that this poor girl lost her life because her father wanted so desperately to keep her that he was willing to kill this white man that was with his daughter and was going to marry her. So now you can imagine when this happened, the chief father was horrified and was beside himself and actually broke down into tears. And as the white man caressed and held his would-be wife, who was basically gone, the chieftain went into some type of trance, some type of mystical trance, where he was talking in his ancient tribal language and cursed the tree, cursed that whole area. Said that from this moment on, and basically what the curse said was that from this moment on, because he lost his life, which was his daughter's life, his life force was based on his daughter, that this tree would take a life every 17 years from now until the future. And it wasn't long after that when weird things started to happen in Ghost Hollow because of this curse that was placed on this tree. Now, the first thing that happens exactly 17 years after the princess was killed. 1887. And it was at this time, and like I mentioned, this was a very lawless area, and there were ranches there, there was a lot of thievery, a lot of horse thievery, right? Rustling and stuff like that. Well, sometime around 1887, a bunch of young men got together and decided to rustle some cattle. And they went from ranch to ranch, grabbing various, robbing certain cattle and basically putting together a cattle drive of all stolen horses and cattle. And however, the townsfolk and the people that lived in the area obviously were not happy about this and put together a posse and tracked them down. And it was just right in that vicinity where they caught up to them and were able to subdue them. Now, unfortunately, instead of going and taking them back to town or to the county seat for trial, they decided to hold their own trial and hung them from this very tree. So 3 people were hung on this tree in 1887. And it's said that one of these people that was hung was totally innocent, was an innocent boy, innocent man, that happened to be riding along when the posse caught up with the rustlers, and he was in the vicinity and he was swept up into it. And although he pled for his life, they didn't believe him. And he was put to death there too, hanged from that tree. And it said that his spirit, as well as those of the other 2 guilty people, were to haunt that area, that hollow, from then on. So that's 1887. Now another 17 years passes, and we take us to 1904. And in 1904, another incident happens. Now, in this incident, the towns at that 1904, it's still very rustic there. It's still very like the Old West. A lot of gamblers, a lot of gambling going on. People trying to make their way out of the deck of cards rather than get a job. And in the local saloon in Ripley, Oklahoma, one night there was a gentleman who was caught cheating at cards. And in fact, he had a reputation for doing that and traveling from town to town, trying to make his money by cheating people out of card games. Well, he was caught red-handed, so to speak, with a marked deck, and he fled from the town on horseback late at night. But he was in hot behind him were the 3 men that he cheated out of in that game. And once again, they caught up to him just about in Ghost Hollow, and it was right in front of that tree where the 3 men shot him dead in cold blood, just shot him completely dead, left his body against that tree, and reclaimed their lost wages or lost money from that they said was stolen from them. So then you have the ghost of this gambler that is said to be haunting that tree, because that's the site of his death. Now that 17 years pass, and in 1921, mysteriously, 2 bodies are found hanging from that tree. Now, it's bad enough that they're hanging. Who did this? No one knows. But what's even more disturbing is nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows who they are, where they came from. No one takes credit for it. There was no evidence of any type of problem or any type of lynching or anything like that, but just two random bodies of men were found hanging from that tree. And to this day, it remains unsolved. No one knows why or who or what happened, but it was exactly 17 years again from the last incident. 17 years more pass, and it takes us to 1938. Now, by this time, 1938, a road had gone through the hollow, or near the hollow at least, around that vicinity. And it was on a dark, rainy night when, in 1939, where a couple was driving their car and mysteriously went flying off the road, into well off the road, and crashed directly into this tree. And as a result, both lost their lives as the car was totaled and smashed, and it burst into flames, and their bodies were charred. So, a random couple was claimed by the tree in 1938. 17 years later brings us to 1955. In 1955, for some unexplained reason, a huge number of ravens or crows, I'm not sure which, they are distinct. Those two type of birds are distinct. These probably were crows. In fact, up to 200 of them were found dead, all outside the tree, around the tree, on the tree, all over the place. Nobody could say why this happened. 1955, why this happened, what caused these birds to mysteriously die, and in mass like that, all around the tree. 17 years later brings us to 1972. And in 1972 is the last time the tree was seen, which is kind of bizarre when you think about that, because it's as if the tree actually disappeared. Now, the tree didn't have bark on it because the bark had fallen off. So it was obviously in the course of decaying and dying, but it still was there. But in 1972, it mysteriously was gone. The only thing that was left was a small stump. Now, who cut it down? What happened to the wood? Where's the remnants of any of it? No one knows. It was completely gone. And that was the last that the tree was ever seen from. The actual tree was seen. Now, since then, 1972 was the last date. Now, since then, haven't been any additional stories about deaths in that area. So maybe whoever took the tree out ended the curse. But I tell you one thing that is definitely a reoccurring thing, in a recurrence in that vicinity, is that people see the tree. And they describe it as glowing at night. And many, many people have sworn to have seen that tree in the place where it traditionally was, in its full leaves and everything, but glowing white at night. And some think it's just simply what's left of the remnants of that curse and the spirits that haunted that tree that created it. And from that, every now and then, from time to time, the tree is spotted. The ghostly tree is spotted. And thankfully, no more deaths have been reported around it. But, Ghost Hollow, as they've called it, has gotten a little bit more populated. So there's a little bit more people living in the area and such. So it's not as creepy or mysterious, I would think, that it once was when it was all desolate. But to this day, people still drive down that road close to where Ghost Hollow is and look for that tree to see if they could see it on a dark night. Who knows, on a foggy night, whatever it might be, in hopes of seeing the remnants of that tree in full bloom once again. The cursed tree of Ghost Hollow, Oklahoma. So that's it. That's the story. Like I said, it was a short one, but it's an interesting one to me to have these events happen every 17 years, all associated in that particular area with that particular tree, and going all the way back to a curse that took place in 1870 by that poor, unfortunate father who ended up killing his daughter. Unfortunately, mistakenly killing his daughter. Hey, Baywatcher, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. So that's my story on this March 8th. I guess it is March 8th, right? March 8th, March 9th. I don't know what it was. March 8th. And that's it for me, for my story. It is. So I hope everyone is doing well. Like I said at the beginning, I just haven't had the ability to be on YouTube much at all lately. It's just been rough. So I do appreciate you guys coming back, even though I haven't been on a while, and tuning in and seeing what I have to say. I'll try to continue to do this, where I can. I'm going to look for more stories and such, and hopefully can do it again next Friday. But that's it. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone's doing well. As I try to stop in at Tommy's and TheGuild sometime. TheGuild is really hard for that time of the day. Is hard for me to stop in, but I try. And just saying hi to everyone. So glad to see you guys. Thank you, every one of you, for stopping in, saying hi to me, listening to my story. And if you're ever in Oklahoma, if you're ever in Ripley, Oklahoma, take a trip down to Ghost Hollow and see if you could see the tree. See if you could see the cursed tree at night. I know I would do that if I was ever there. Why not? See if you can see it. So, and in addition to the sighting of the tree, many local residents claim that they hear, strange sounds still where that tree used to be. The whistling of the wind as if it was going through the branches, even though the branches are not there any longer. Stuff like that. So there's definitely something spiritual still going on there that people are tuning into and catching on to. How long is it? That's a good question. I don't know how far it is from Belleville. It's got to be a couple thousand miles, I would think. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can find out real quickly what it is. How many miles from Belleville, New Jersey, to Ripley, Oklahoma? Let's see if it tells us. Oh, not that far. 1,300, almost 1,400 miles. Said it would take 19 hours and 50 minutes if you drive it straight. So that's it. It's on the other side. It's north of Texas, on the other side of Kansas there. So you can go through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, that area, and Missouri, and then come down into Oklahoma. But yeah, that's how it goes. I think isn't Mike F. Mike F. is in Oklahoma now, I think. So maybe he can go check it out, see what's going on there. Yeah, Baywatch. Yeah, I've heard that. I have Baywatcher. I've definitely heard about that. In my town here, when I first moved here, there was an old tree that was 200 years old. They called it a Liberty tree because it was here during the Revolutionary War. So they call them Liberty trees. And it ended up getting struck by lightning and dying. And the rumors around that was that it once was a hanging tree too, but there was no documentation anywhere of anyone ever being hanged on it. So what they did was they hired an artist, and the artist carved carved the trunk of the tree because it was huge. You're talking about a 200-year-old tree, carved the trunk into an eagle, into the shape of an eagle, and it stood there for many years. And maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, it began to rot, and they took it down. And it was a very sad day because I always loved driving past that eagle. It was like I don't know, it was like a 15-foot high eagle based carved out of this tree, out of this old Liberty tree. But I was sad to see it go. But I love those old trees like that, and the history around them are fascinating. Hi, Adam. Good to see you. Arm distance. How are you? Nice to see you guys as always. But yeah, there are a lot of legends around trees. Trees seem to be something that strikes the imagination or strikes something primordial in us as humans. The tree has been the source of warmth, right? It was cut down and its wood was used for warmth. It's used for paper to record things. Uh, Trees have a lot of uses and them a very important connection to human beings. So because of that, they tend to live in our psyche as well, and our imaginations run wild with that type of stuff. So that's it, guys. That's my story for this evening. And what else do I have to say? I don't think I have much else to say tonight. It's kind of quiet here. Not even having a drink tonight, just drinking seltzer. Oh, Baywatch, are you talking about the ones in Are you talking about the ones in California? The ones that are redwoods that are gigantic? Those things that you can go through them. You can drive through them, or walk through them. Yeah, I've never been there. I always wanted to see those redwoods. That would be pretty awesome to see those giant trees. Don, I don't have another story, buddy. I only have one. Um, if I could, if I had another one, I'd definitely share with it. I mean, we could go into Tommy's White Lady of Branch Brook Park, which is what he always wanted me to talk about. I could talk about that too. I don't have much about it, and this is interesting. And you know what? You know what? I will talk about that. I'll tell you about that. So when Tommy and I were growing up in Belleville, there was a park that connected Belleville and Newark. Half of the park is in Newark, half of the park is in Belleville. And it's famous for the cherry blossom trees. It has the most cherry blossoms in the country. I think even more. It has more than Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was famous for the cherry blossoms, but I think Belleville has surpassed it, and this park has surpassed it. It's Branch Brook Park. Now, there's a legend in this park and it's called the Legend of the White Lady. And it doesn't, and the White Lady has nothing to do with her being white or racial. It has nothing to do with that. She's the White Lady because she's a white ghost, and she's draped in white. And the story goes that in the early 50s, I think it was the early 50s, there was a couple that got married and eloped or something like that, and we're driving through the park, and I don't know anything more than, I don't know why, but they ended up crashing into a tree. And as a result of that, the woman died, and that woman's ghost haunted that tree in that vicinity of where the accident took place. And it was said that woman, if you drove there at night, you might see her, and it's quite an evil type of legend because her goal is to get you to crash into the tree. So she would distract you and lure you towards the tree so that there would be another accident and you might die, in the same tree that she did. And there was this tree there. There was definitely a tree along the road there in the park, along a turn, which had the bark smashed out of it as if something crashed into the tree for the longest time. And as you were driving along at night and your lights flashed, on that oak of that tree, you would see the outline of what could be a white person, and it was basically the tree without the bark carved out. Like the bark was carved out, so it had the appearance of like a white, and under the bark it's white or a lighter color, the appearance of a wedding dress. So whether anyone ever saw the actual ghost of this woman, I don't know. I never did, but I did. I mean, I definitely saw the tree, and the tree did look like it. The tree definitely did look like a ghost, like a ghostly woman or ghostly bride. And I could see how people could, say that they saw that. Well, hi, Brian. Good to see you, Brian. But that's it. I mean, Tommy makes a lot more of this story than it is because that's all I could find. I did look it up and I couldn't find anything more. And that was the story as we knew it as kids. But I don't remember. I couldn't find anything more detailed about it. So it's kind of like a basic ghost story. But it does have that evil twist that she's trying to lure you into the tree, which is kind of bizarre. Yes, Cinnamon, thank you. Yes, hit the like if you like what you see, right? If you like what you're listening to or watching, hit the like button. I think Tommy asked her out, but I don't think she showed up. I think she stood him up. But yeah, I never saw the light. I never saw the actual ghost. I never did. And that tree is gone now. I know that tree is gone. So maybe that's why the ghost is gone. The tree's gone and the ghost is gone, much like in the Oklahoma story. Once the tree goes, so goes the curse and the ghosts. But that's really it. That's the story, guys. Those are the stories. That little bonus white lady story for Tommy if he's watching. Or if you can come back and watch it. Emmanuel, do I believe that they made up the story? Yes, I do. I don't believe the Amityville horror story. I don't buy that. I just don't. I don't buy that one. I think that I think that was created for the commercial benefit that they got from it. So I don't really believe in that one. I don't know if others do or not, but I didn't believe in the Amityville horror. And the movie was kind of dumb too. I didn't even like the movie. Tommy didn't date her because she stood him up. That's why Tommy didn't date the white lady. He tried, but she didn't show. Um, but yeah. Now I don't know if anybody has ever had an experience, like a supernatural experience that they would be willing to share, because I wanted to do a show about that. If there were people out there that would want to come on and talk about it, I would definitely do a show about that. I think that would be very interesting to hear firsthand accounts of what they particularly encountered. Because I know Osada, he's not here tonight, but Osada told me that he had a paranormal experience in a pizzeria, which I would love to hear about. I'd love for him to come on and tell the story. But because that's really interesting to me. Yeah, it's a franchise now. Yeah, the Amity. Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and then there's that other place in New Jersey. What is it called? The Watcher House. The Watcher House. I think that's in. Where is the Watcher House? I don't even know where that is. It's. Hmm. I don't know. There's a there was they did a mini series on that. I think on Netflix or on HBO or something like that about the Watcher House. Oh, Don McHugh. Yes, Don, you had one too. That's right. You did have one. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that you had one. Adam is going to do this live. Do what live, Brian? I don't. I missed that. Adam's going to do it live. Do this live. Do this live. Oh, Adam said I lived in a house when I was little with my family claimed. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, all right. All right, Adam. Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to hear about that too. I'd love to hear that one. The house that they used in the movie is actually in New Jersey. You're talking about the Amityville house is actually the one they use is in New Jersey? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Adam is shaving your head tomorrow live. Damn it, Mandy. There was a ghost in my auntie's house. He always let us know he was there. The kitchen smelled like sausage and bacon. She also had a Civil War soldier. Wow, that's awesome. Used to walk in her back porch. That is awesome, damn it. I wish I had that experience. That's pretty cool. Hi, Arlene. Good to see you. Yeah, we should all tune in for the shaving of the head, for Brian shaving of his head, of Adam shaving Brian's head. Make sure you publicize that so everyone could tune in to Adam's channel. Oh, great, Adam. That's great. What I want to do is plan it. I want to plan it for a Friday, and then we can have you guys come on. Whoever wants to come on can come on, and we can go through the stories. That'd be awesome. That would be very cool. Purple is here. Nice to see you, Purple. Yeah, Emmanuel, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's my little story for this evening. My 2 stories for this evening. And like I said, I'll do that. I'm going to plan that a live one. And if Adam will come on, that's awesome. If anyone else wants to come on, they can come on as well. You know, we can do live supernatural encounters. We can do that. Stories of live supernatural encounters. That would be awesome. Damn it, Mandy said she couldn't pay me to go near that. Yeah, well, listen, I just think I think that was made up. I don't know. It's just me. I just think it was made up, but I could be wrong. Who knows? That the people, when people make money off of something like that, I tend to think that it's made up for that purpose, but who knows? But yeah, so I think that's a good plan. We'll do that. We'll have a show where we'll talk about actual experiences, and anyone who wants to come on can do so. Adam could come on, and then I'm going to reach out to Assad and see if he wants to share his story, and anyone else too. Damn it, Mandy, if you want to come on, and everyone doesn't have to show their face as long as I know it's them, as long as it's not some troll pretending to be somebody. But you don't have to show your face. If you want to tell the story, you can. Absolutely. Don McHugh, if he wants to tell his too, that would be awesome too. Whatever. We can do whatever we want. Whoever wants to do it can do it. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to check out. I've been on 40 minutes. That's long enough for a short story like that. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting me and tuning in, because it's awesome to have you here with me, And so thank you all once again for subscribing, for liking, all that jazz. And we'll see you again soon. And I hope to see you in somebody else's chats. Like when I can get in, I will. When I can get on, I will. It's just been rough lately. So just haven't been able to do it. So anyway, thanks again. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And as always, build the guild and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening. If I can shut this thing off. For some reason, it's not shutting off. That is bizarre. There we go. There we go. I got it. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.